Hey kids, Pirate Prepper here. Let's try this again. Well, let's try and shorten this version. We're going to talk about a few things today, and want you to really think about politics for a minute. We have the fate of this country coming up in an election, or something similar. We have the fate of the world coming up, or something similar. Some of us have heard that a lot over the years. And I'm not saying that any one political party is correct, and I'm not saying that anyone is wrong. That's for you to decide. I know how I'm voting already, and nothing and or nobody's going to change that decision. So, looking at some of the things that have been said recently, though, I've heard some things that concern me, not as much as they might have at one point in time, but they do make me aware. And one of the things that have been commented, and something that is unlikely to happen, is a ban on, per se, Glock pistols, for example. Now, of course, these are all safety checked and unloaded and blah, blah, blah. The chances of banning one specific brand or item is almost impossible, especially when 65+% of the law enforcement market is made up by that one particular brand, let alone the public consumption. So, I'm not overly concerned about it, but the fact that they are talking about it and thinking about it does concern me. If we are willing to violate people's rights to that extent, that says a lot. The fact that they're willing to violate people's rights to free speech, both here and abroad. Look what happened over in France in the last 24 hours, and the gentleman who owns Telegram. He's being charged with everybody else's crimes. Yeah, freedom. Okay. So let's take a minute and look at some logic. And liberal logic versus real logic. According to liberal logic and liberal comments on the news, it's out there that the 223, the 5.56, the military cartridges, this is a powerful, powerful round. It's designed to kill people. Well, historically, it's a varmint cartridge. It's designed to kill like woodchucks and gophers. And yeah, that's a 55 grain bullet moving around 2,600 to 3,100 feet per second, depending on the barrel length. Some versions a little heavier bullet, sometimes lighter, generally not. Heavier and slower. But that is what everybody is up in arms around today. That is what they want to take out of your hands. Okay. And if you compare that to, say, the 30-06 Springfield, military cartridge again, from 1906, 30 caliber. The bullet basically weighs 3 times as much. Here's that one. Moving roughly the same speed, depending on the gun. World War I, World War II, Korea, a little bit of Vietnam, and still in use certain places around the world militarily. And by deer hunters and moose hunters and elk hunters, and every year, today. But these little bit in here, that's super powerful. Logic. They don't want you to have this one. They don't want you to have any of them. But if they can get rid of the little one, then the even more powerful one. Who knows? They're not required to tell the truth. So this powerful option here, in use by our military since the 60s. Yeah. Longer than most of us have been alive. It is a good self-defense and home defense option. It is. It is allowed, but it is a good version. It is a good option. Why? This is less likely to go through a wall and hit the neighbors. And that is. It is more likely to stay in someone if you shoot them than go through and injure your neighbors, etc., etc. Again, logic. So, if we go back about 80 years, almost 90, the design of the day, technology, was the M1 Garand, or Garand if you're Canadian. It holds 8 rounds of 30-06. Eight rounds. Yes, that is a clip, or an en-bloc loader, if you want to get really technical. The magazine is actually part of the rifle. And this gun is basically 50 state legal. No folding stock, no pistol grip underneath, no threaded muzzle, no detachable magazine. So I can use this for self-defense pretty much anywhere in the U.S. But it's an antique. But it works really well. There's a whole lot of different soldiers from various countries who learned that to great effect in a number of wars and police actions. 6 works really well. It may be a little much, though. Again, shooting through walls, neighbors, houses. Yeah. So we fast forward to the 1960s. And the varmint cartridge comes up. And it is still our military cartridge today. And the same basic rifle is in use today. Now, this is a variation. It's a mixture of old and new. Fixed stock, but it does have a threaded muzzle, and it does have the, lo and behold, the deadly, deadly, super evil pistol grip. Okay. All political BS aside, it's a rifle. It shoots bullets down the range. It is no more deadly than any other rifle of the same cartridge, or bigger. What it is a political target. That's why they don't like it. They don't want you to have it because you can protect yourself. You don't need them. And that's where it all falls down for them. But now, why do I like the AR platform rifles? Very simple. I'm older. They have less recoil. And due to some injuries over the years, a while ago, I couldn't use one of my arms. And with this, because it is light, 6 pounds, I can actually use just one arm to hold it up and make it work. That to me is important. because I may not have the ability to use that second arm, that second hand, to reload or do whatever. Now, the argument is made that these high-capacity magazines, well, they're not high-capacity. These magazines that's so bad have been that way since the 19-teens. And, yeah, they're nothing new. But they're bad now. What a magazine that holds more than 5, 10 rounds allows you the ability to do is not reload. Yeah, reloading, breaking the gun, taking parts off and out, breaking the gun. Anytime you manipulate the gun, you have potential for a problem. So if I'm using a 7-round magazine and I fire 7 rounds and I have to take this magazine out of the gun, that is breaking the gun. It's a strange way of philosophy, but it's an interesting one. Whereas I can take 15 and not have to reload, potentially. And I can do it one-handed with both, as opposed to a revolver. You can still do it, it's just difficult. I can make either of these handguns work with one hand. It's why it's a handgun, not a hands gun. We see a lot of comments today about high capacity. Well, what is high capacity? There's no definition aside from what some politician makes up. Anything over 10 is high capacity in some places. California, Illinois, New Jersey. In Colorado, anything over 15 was high capacity. What's the difference? 5 rounds. But the difference was in Colorado, and again, this is a silly law, it really is. But the difference is in Colorado, that would be illegal, that would be legal. That holds 13, that holds 15. Big difference? No, not really. But we picked an arbitrary number. There was no legal reason for it. There was no logical reason. It was an arbitrary number picked because they could. And that control is what they want. They want that control over you, or what you have, what you possess. Your car can't go over X amount, your speed limit. Well, that's probably coming. You know, they shut down your electric car because you're doing 72 in a 65, because they can. Could be coming. If we look at what's happening today around the world, if we look at London, Solingen, Germany, France, I'm not going to make any comments about who's committing the crimes. I'm not going to make any comments about why the crimes are being committed. The crimes are being committed, period. Innocent people are getting hurt and dying. And in these places, they're not allowed to defend themselves. Here in the U.S., we are allowed. We have that right. We have the right to possess, to own, to use. It is up to you to defend yourself. It is up to you to choose to take action if something happens. You can sit back. You can wait for the police or the military or whoever to show up and clean up the mess. Or you can do something. The motto of this channel has been do something. Think about that. Look what just happened in Germany. Look what just happened in London. Father gets attacked out walking with his wife, child in a stroller. Big knife. And he had no means of defense. Do something. Have a gun. Practice with that gun. Know how to use it. Know the laws. Do something. For you, for your kids, for your grandkids. Vote appropriately. You can vote for crime. You can vote for your rights. That's up to you. Pirate Burger out.